Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to all students. Today we will learn about quantifiers. Come meet your teachers. First up, we have Ma Meyi or Teacher Meyi. Secondly, we got Nur Roziha binti Muhammad Ariff or Teacher Azira. And then we got Nur Imanina binti Dul Hadi or Teacher Imanina. And lastly, myself, Sharifah Batrisya binti Syed Alwi or Teacher Isha. Learning objectives. By the end of these lessons, students should be able to number 1. Describe the meaning of quantifiers. Number 2. Match the quantifiers to their type. And number 3. Use quantifier correctly in sentences. Let's start with the lesson. Definition of quantifiers. Quantifiers is a word that usually goes before a noun to express the quantity of the object. For example, a little milk. We use quantifiers when we want to give someone information about the number of something, how much or how many. Sometimes we use a quantifier in the place of a determiner, the, this, and mine, for example.
Next is quantifiers with countable and uncountable nouns. We can use these quantifiers like all, some, more, a lot of, enough, plenty of, a lot of, no, any, most, lots of, plus, heaps of, and tons of, with both countable and uncountable nouns. Some of the examples of this sentence are: first, we have lots of time, and we have loads of time. Next, Jill has plenty of friends, and lastly, there was a lot of food but no drinks. Next is quantifiers with countable nouns. These quantifiers can be used only with countable nouns. Some of them are many or not many, each, either, a few, a couple of, thousands of, several, both, neither, fewer, and hundreds of. Some of the examples of the sentence are: firstly, both of them are my dearest cousins in America. Then, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Lastly, there were hundreds of people at the meeting. Then is quantifiers with uncountable nouns. These quantifiers can be used only with uncountable nouns. Some of them are much or not much, a bit of, a little, a great deal of, and a good deal of. Some of the examples of the sentence are: firstly, would you like a little wine? Then, could I have a bit of butter, please? Next, it will probably cost a great deal of money. And lastly, he spent a good deal of time watching television.
Now let's look into members of groups. First one, general groups. We put a noun directly after a quantifier when we are talking about members of a group in general. Example, first, few steaks are dangerous. Second, most children like chocolate. Third, I never have enough money. But if we are talking about members of a specific group, we use of the as well. Examples, few of the snakes in the zoo are dangerous. Most of the boys at my school play football, and he spent all of the money that we gave him. However, with all and both, we don't need to use of. We can say all the and both the right away. Now, for both, either, and neither. If we are talking about two people or things, we use the quantifiers both, either, and neither. For example, if there are only one supermarket, we can say the supermarket was closed. So no, both, either, or neither are used. And then, if there are two supermarkets, we can say both of these supermarkets were closed, or neither of these supermarkets was open. And then, if there are more than two supermarkets, we can use all or none. For example, all the supermarkets were closed, or none of the supermarkets were open. Note that nouns with both have plural verb, but nouns with either and neither have a singular verb.
For the next part, we will look at some and any. We do not normally use the quantifier some in negative and interrogative sentences. We normally use any in this case. For examples, do you have any children? We don't have any children. Did you see any friends? I didn't see any friends. We saw some lions at the zoo, but we didn't see any tigers. However, we can use some for offers and requests. For examples, would you like some tea? I want some apples, please. Next, we will look at the very common quantifiers, which are every and each. We use quantifier every and each with singular nouns to mean all. For examples, there was a party in every street indicates that there were parties in all the streets. Every shop was decorated with flowers means that all the shops were decorated with flowers. Each child was given a prize means all the children were given a prize. And lastly, there was a prize in each competition indicates that there were prizes in all the competitions. But be careful that we do not use a determiner with each and every. For examples, the every shop was decorated with flowers. We cannot use the every shop. And each child was given a prize. We cannot use the each child was given a prize.